You've probably seen it, right? Micah Parsons, always the heart and soul of the Dallas Cowboys defense, dropping a subtle hint to the Cowboys front office. I mean, did you catch that post-game interview? It wasn't just about a game or a win, it was a message, loud and clear. And no, we're not talking about his usual fire intensity. This was something deeper, so what exactly did he mean by that? Let's talk about it, because it might just change the way you see things. Before we dive in, tell me, what do you think? Was Parsons' message a strategic move, or just a guy speaking his mind? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss another insider take like this one. Alright, back to Micah. If you really listen to what he said, it's clear he's not just a player on the field. He's becoming a leader off of it. He's already shown his dedication to winning, to bringing the best out of this team, but what he's hinting at now, well, it's got us all thinking about the bigger picture. His words seemed like a veiled critique, not just at the team, but at the decisions being made at the very top. He's been a key part of this defense, and with his influence growing, he's clearly sending a message to the front office. Is it about roster decisions, the coaching staff? The bigger questions, like what the future holds for the Cowboys. Before we get into the details of what Micah really meant, let me ask you this: do you think players should have more say in the team's direction? Vote in the poll right now and let us know your take. Micah's words feel like they might be part of something bigger. Something that, if you're a true Cowboys fan, you've been waiting for, the leadership we need to get us back to the top. Maybe this is just the start of a new chapter in the Cowboys' evolution. But will the front office listen? That's the million-dollar question. At this point, I'm curious, do you think Parsons is just venting, or is he calling for real change? And what does that mean for the future of the Cowboys? Hit the comments and share your opinion. We'll talk more about what this can mean in the next chapter. Alright, now that we've broken down Micah's message, the question becomes, how will the Cowboys front office respond? Will they ignore it, or will they take it as a sign that changes need to be made? I'll be honest with you, the silence from the front office is deafening. So, what's really going on behind the scenes? Is anyone actually listening to what Micah is saying? I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Do you think the Cowboys front office is really paying attention to Parsons, or are they just brushing it off? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to take the poll. We've seen it before, right? Big name players making waves with their words, but the front office just doesn't seem to react. It's like they're stuck in their ways, doing things their own way without considering what the players, especially the leaders like Parsons, are saying. But this time, it feels different. Parsons has the power to shift the narrative. He's more than just a defensive powerhouse. He's a key figure in the Cowboys locker room. His words might just be the catalyst for the changes we all want to see. Now, we have to ask ourselves, what kind of action will we expect from the front office? Will they finally take the players' concerns seriously? Will they stop making the same mistakes year after year and adjust their approach? Because, let's face it, if they don't take this seriously, the consequences could be dire. So, let me throw it to you. What kind of moves would you want to see from the front office in response to Parsons' message? What's the one thing you'd change to make this team a real contender? Let us know in the comments below. The way I see it, the ball is in their court now. Micah Parsons just threw a fastball their way, and it's up to them to catch it or let it slip. But if they don't act soon, the Cowboys might find themselves facing a much bigger crisis, the locker room divided. Micah's message could be the first of many from players who are frustrated with the lack of progress. The front office has a choice to make, and you know what? I think we're all waiting to see if they're actually listening. Will the silence continue, or will we finally see some action? I don't know about you, but I'm ready to find out. Okay, now let's shift gears and talk about us, the fans. We've been watching this team for years, and I think it's safe to say that we've seen our fair share of highs and lows, but recently, something feels off. Micah Parsons' comments got me thinking, are we, as fans, feeling disconnected from the front office and the team's direction? Voiceover, I know I'm not the only one feeling this way, right? I want to hear from you. Do you think the Cowboys front office is out of touch with what we, the fans, want? Drop a comment below and share your opinion. Also, don't forget to vote in our poll. It's clear that there's a growing divide between what we're seeing on the field and what's happening off it. As fans, we want results, we want improvement, and we want to see the team build towards something greater. But how can we trust the direction of this team if we're not seeing any major changes or adjustments? When Parsons speaks, it resonates because we all feel the same frustration. It's like we're all on the same page, but somehow the team's leadership isn't reading the room. Seriously, how many times have we seen this happen before? Big promise, but no follow-through. What do you think? Do you feel like the front office is out of touch? Let's get your thoughts in the comments. And here's where it gets tricky: when the fans start to lose faith, that's when things can get ugly. We've all seen how the energy in the stadium changes when the fans aren't behind the team. You can feel it in the air, and you can hear it in the chants. The support starts to wane, and when that happens, the atmosphere shifts. It affects the players too, whether they admit it or not. So, while the front office may not feel the heat yet, we, the fans, are the ones who are directly affected. I think it's time for the front office to hear us loud and clear. We're tired of seeing the same mistakes year after year, and we want to know that the people making the decisions are truly listening. Micah, Parsons' message is just the start. The fans are the heart of this team. If we're not behind it, things could get worse for everyone involved. What do you think, though? Is there hope for the future? Or are we stuck in the same old cycle? Sound off in the comments, and let's talk about where we go from here. Alright, so we've talked about the players, we've talked about the fans, but now we need to turn our attention to the big question. What about Jerry Jones? He's been the face of the Cowboys for decades, and let's be real, his influence is unmatched. But here's the million-dollar question. Is Jerry Jones part of the problem? Look, I know Jerry's legacy is tied to this team, but is it time for a change at the top? I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Do you think Jerry should take a step back? Or should he stay involved with the day-to-day decisions? Let's hear from you in the comments, and don't forget to vote in our poll. Jerry has made some bold moves over the years, and in some cases, he's delivered. But in recent years, it feels like he's been holding on to this team a bit too tightly. It's almost like the team is stuck in a cycle of never-ending mediocrity. And as much as we love the idea of the Cowboys being America's team, it's starting to feel like that's just a brand one that doesn't necessarily align with what's happening on the field. Voiceover, you've been following the Cowboys for a long time. Do you feel like Jerry's decisions have been more about his personal vision than what's best for the team? What do you think? Let's chat in the comments. What we're seeing right now is the result of decisions made by Jerry and his inner circle. The coaching changes, the personnel decisions, the roster moves, it all starts and ends with Jerry. And as much as we respect what he's done for the team, there's a point where we have to ask ourselves, are these decisions really leading us to the promised land? Or are we just stuck in the same cycle of disappointment? It's tough because Jerry has put a lot of his own identity into the Cowboys, but sometimes that personal investment can cloud judgment. Maybe it's time to let someone else take the reins and make some decisions that are more in tune with the current NFL landscape. So, what do you think? Does Jerry still have the magic touch? Or is it time for a new direction? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure to give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the video. Alright, here we are, the final chapter, and now it's time to put everything together. We've explored the coaching, the players, and Jerry's role in all of this, but now we need to focus on the most important question. What needs to change for the Cowboys to finally break through and reach their full potential? Before we get into it, let me ask you this. What's the one thing you think the Cowboys absolutely need to change in order to succeed? Drop your answer in the comments, and let's see what we can all agree on. The reality is, the Cowboys have the talent to win it all. There's no doubt about it, but talent alone won't get them there. The coaching staff, the front office, and the culture need to shift. They need to be more adaptable, more aggressive, and less reliant on the past. The Cowboys need to stop living in the shadow of their glory days and start creating new ones. Speaking of the future, do you think the next head coach needs to have a different philosophy than McCarthy? Or do you think this current staff just needs to make adjustments? Vote now and let us know where you stand. For the Cowboys to truly succeed, they need a more dynamic approach. They need a head coach who can get the most out of this roster, someone who isn't afraid to make tough decisions. And they need to build a team that isn't just based on big names, but one that plays as a cohesive unit, regardless of individual egos. And then there's the front office. Jerry needs to empower someone else to take the lead. When it comes to personnel decisions, that can mean finding a new GM or even bringing in fresh voices to help with scouting and recruitment. This team needs a clear direction, and the constant uncertainty is only hurting them in the long run. I know this is a lot to think about, but what do you think? Do you believe the Cowboys can still turn it around with the right changes? Or do you think we're stuck in this cycle for the long haul? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. At the end of the day, the future of the Cowboys rests in the hands of the people running the show. The talent is there, but the leadership and vision need to match it. If they can get those pieces right, then maybe, just maybe, we'll finally see a Cowboys team that lives up to the hype. If you're as passionate about the Cowboys as we are, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and stay updated on all the latest news. And don't forget to share your thoughts. This is your team, and your voice matters.